Hello dear viewers, my name is Nino and you're watching Nino's product reviews, and today we're going to take a look at the Foscam FI9900P. It's a 1080p outdoor camera and basically one of their newest models, so I'm pretty interested to see how it performs, especially if you compare it to my previous reviews of the other somewhat older models at this point. So a thing that you're getting with this camera, a sticker which is going to warn intruders that they are being recorded, a small warranty card, some kind of other card which is of no interest to me right now, a software CD, and a quick installation guide. Now the guide is in German because I got it from a German reseller. If you buy it somewhere else, you obviously get a guide in your own language, and Foscam's guides are pretty good in general, but it is quite simple to set this camera up. Now if we look at the camera itself, we're going to notice that it is very small in comparison to other cameras. It seems minuscule. This surprised me a little bit, but I don't think that's negative. I'm just curious how they managed to cram all that technology in there in that small casing, which just increases my curiosity regarding the quality of the video, because this is essentially what the most important part of the camera is, how well it can record video. Here we have the Wi-Fi antenna entry, of course several cables, of course the power brick here, a LAN cable. This I would only use to install the camera if there's nothing else. These LAN cables that are included are usually very bad quality. I suggest you get a better one, a small screwing tool, and the antenna itself. So there isn't that much inside the package. It's not surprising because you really don't need that much to begin with. And this is how you would screw the antenna on the camera. Let's just take a look at how it looks. I think it looks pretty cool in the silver color with the black antenna. Yeah. The only downside is that it's not as intimidating as a bigger camera, but other than that, it's pretty nice. So what I find quite strange is that the camera does not actually offer you some kind of entry slot for the micro SD card. But if you go into the software, you'll see that the software does ask about it. So what I did is I actually checked if it's possible to install one, and I found a way. I'm going to show you how. Now you're going to first need this little tool here, which is usually used to adjust, for example, the angle of the foot over there, and you're going to unscrew this small screw over here. Now if you try to pry the camera open now, you will see that it jiggles a little bit, but it doesn't really open. It just feels like just one side is unscrewed. So my conclusion was that behind this sticker there should be the second screw, and I was right about that. Unfortunately, removing this sticker will most likely void your warranty. So it's a choice you gotta make. I definitely went for it, but I still find it kind of weird that they decided to do it this way. Anyway, once you remove the sticker, you'll see you have a second screw there, and you're going to have to unscrew that as well, as I'm doing right now. Once that screw drops, you basically remove this front part of the casing, and now you have the actual lens and diodes and everything. And it seems like you got a few more tiny screws. Now you're gonna need a Phillips screwdriver for this, and what I strongly suggest is that you use a good one because it's much easier, but in any case it's not too hard. You only need to remove the outer ones, the 4 outer screws, not the other ones. They can stay. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just going to remove the 4 outer screws here, and there we have the last one. And what we can do now is pull the whole thing out. Be gentle with it, you don't want to break it. This is very simple, guys. Don't be afraid to do it. Just consider always that you're probably voiding your warranty. So if we look around at this, it looks pretty interesting, but it does pose the question where the actual slot is for the micro SD card. So that's what I'm going to show you now. So if you take a closer look here, you're going to notice a small edge right in front of my finger. This is where the micro SD card needs to go in. So I'm going to demonstrate how I'm going to plug the micro SD card in there, just so you guys can see that it actually is there, and then it works. It's going to be recognized in the software. The camera can record, but I just find it so strange that Foscam went with this idea. This is definitely not a very functional idea. I mean, I do get it. This way the camera is really perfectly sealed, and it is really safe. Water can't get in and stuff like that, but it makes it complicated for people who are afraid to experiment with this thing. So that's where the micro SD card goes in. It snaps in just like you would in a phone. You basically push it in, it clicks, and then it's bitten, and then you need to push it in again, and it's gonna spit it out. It's very convenient, very easy to install, and you can go really high with the micro SD capacity. I know that up to 32 gigabytes is absolutely no problem. I have not had the chance to try with more. So as we can see now, I'm going to log in and take a look at the actual functions of the camera. And the first thing that strikes me is that the 1080p really offers a great difference in quality between 780p and the sometimes available 920p. this is really much better. The resolution is really crisp. You can see every detail, and as you can see, we have again several streams. We have equilibrium mode, we have the HD mode, which I'm gonna use. You can mirror the things, and it's always interesting because suddenly you feel like your apartment's on the other side of the building. You can flip the picture, which is useful if, for example, the camera is for some reason standing upside down. And we have a zoom function. Now this is a software zoom, but thanks to the good resolution, this zoom is actually very nice. And it's going to give you a pretty clear image, no matter how, well, not no matter how much you zoom. At some point the image is just gonna blur out too much, but it is still quite useful. It's not an optical zoom, but it is nice, although I would have loved to see one. Now the IR LEDs can be modified here. I'm gonna leave them on auto because I just don't see a reason to mess with them. They're working fine the way they are. And here you can change the colors. As you can see, the colors currently are very realistic in the sense that they look just like they should, and if I increase a little bit, they can look almost cartoony. Now this is not a bad thing. This can actually enable you to see things that you otherwise might not see as well. So it's a matter of taste. If you want to go with that, go ahead and play with it. I'm not gonna judge you. So if we go inside the settings, we're going to see that most of the first settings that meet us are quite standard. Now it says no SD card here because I've removed it after that previous demonstration. I currently don't need it. You have different logs. So the status windows are not that interesting. The camera name here, the camera time, and that's quite important. I strongly suggest you don't sync with the MTP server, but actually uncheck this and sync with your PC. Why? Because in the past, some of the email services where you get an email with pictures, for some reason bugged out and did not work when not synced with the PC. So I don't know what the reason for that is, but I found out that this fixes it. So I advise you to do that. In any case, you're gonna have the date and time, which is on your PC, so just set it up. Other than that, we got standard functions like wireless settings, so you can connect to the camera without a cable. DDNS settings, Foscam offers a free one. You have to be considerate about the DDNS. Here are the mail settings, by the way, and they are very important. I'll tell you why, because the DDNS is something that you need an actual static IP for, and most people don't have one. This has nothing to do with Foscam or the camera. This is you and your ISP. You need to contact your internet service provider and ask them, do I have a static IP? If they say yes, cool. If they say no, ask them if they can give you one, because you need that for a secure connection in order for you to be able to access your video streams from outside of your home. So otherwise you're not gonna be able to, and your only way of getting actual pictures is if you have pictures being sent to you via email when something happens. That's, for example, something I use currently because I don't have a static IP at the moment. You have the two different streams here, and these streams can be set up. Why would you need two streams? Well, because if, for example, you're accessing it from your phone, or there's something else that you're using which doesn't have that fast internet, you need a slower stream so it doesn't lag too much. Now the privacy zone, as we see it here, enables you to basically hide part of the picture permanently. I'm going to demonstrate it with this part of the picture. Let's just say there's somebody here. I don't want this person to be seen, so I'm going to set the privacy zone, save it, and then once we go into the live mode, you see that part is blurred out. So even if I zoom in, zoom out, you know, it's going to stay there, and I can't see what's happening there. So this is good, for example, if you put it in front of your house and you want to guard your own yard, but obviously you don't want to be spying on your neighbor. Not only can that get you in legal trouble, but you know, it's unfriendly to say the least. So you can blur him out, and then he's got nothing to complain about. You could tell him that, and you're on the moral high ground. Now, manual snap quality. Now this is basically when you're looking through your camera and you think to yourself, that is pretty cool, I'm gonna click that button down there and I'm gonna take a picture. And this also can be set up to, as you can see, time capture. You can set it up to capture pictures on specific dates and times, and then it's going to snap pictures with a certain intensity as you've set it up. Now I'm going to disable that because it's pointless for me. The IR LED schedule is basically like the previous one, only the difference here is that you can do it whenever you want. Basically you can set a specific time limit. I wouldn't mess with that. Let it do its own thing. It does it well. Now then we have motion detection, which is the most important thing. We have camera sound, PC sound, but the camera sound we could tick off because this camera does not have a loudspeaker of its own, so it's not capable of producing a sound. We have the email, and this is important. That way, whenever something happens, the camera is going to take a snapshot, send it to us via email. We get a push notification and an email with pictures. Now the motion detection enables us to set zones. So here we had the whole thing set as a zone, but I could just set 3 zones here at random. Yeah, let's take this part as well for the third zone. And now all these zones, whenever there's movement on them, we're going to have an alarm with pictures. Now we could set different intensities for the zone. Let's say zone 1 is something that is very important to me, so I want a high sensitivity. Whenever something moves, immediately kick in. Zone 3 is not that important, cats pass by or something, so I set it to lowest so it doesn't kick in every time. And zone 2 is one where I say, okay, let's have a medium importance. This gives us a certain amount of flexibility. I think it's pretty nice. And of course you can schedule these things to be on specific times or leave them to be at all times. Basically that means if I set it up on Tuesday at 9 or 10, it's only gonna be guarding with recording possibilities at that time automatically when something moves. Now the storage location is, you have two options, SD card and FTP, and additionally local storage. That means this device will record on your PC while the PC is on. This is very important. PC off, no recording. And additionally on an SD card or FTP if you've set it up. I've set an FTP, for example, by using a USB stick on my router and programmed that one to be acting as FTP. That way I can turn off my PC and it still records. Now the pre-recorded time is at 5 seconds, which will constantly loop. Once something happens, let's say the alarm recording time is 5 minutes, these 5 seconds will be added to the 5 minutes. That means someone gets inside my yard, I will first see 5 seconds before he got inside the yard, then he will appear, get inside, etc. So this is very, very useful. The local alarm recording is basically an additional feature which enables you to set how many minutes should be, or how many seconds or minutes should be recorded straight on your PC. You don't need to set it up, then it's going to be the same as before. Now the scheduled recording is something that is recorded on the FTP server or SD card, so it doesn't work here, but it's essentially the same. Since we don't have an SD card, we have no status of it here. So that's pretty much it. There aren't that many additional functions here, but I think this camera is really awesome. And I kind of applaud the fact that it isn't overwhelming. A thing I forgot to mention is the WDR, which is basically like HDR for video. On low light conditions or bad lighting conditions, the camera will try to adjust to that. Right now the light conditions outside are absolutely okay, so you are not noticing much of a difference. But if it was a bit darker, more unpleasant day, this would actually make the picture seem a bit brighter. So it is useful, but it is a matter of taste, because it can in some cases seem a bit grainy to you. So like I said, use it however you like. Now I'm going to show you a few recordings. So now what you're going to see is basically what it looks like if your camera had recorded something and you're looking at the video after the recording. Be aware there's no audio in this video, so that's something to be considering, but the picture quality is excellent. So if you're looking for a great outdoor camera with a high resolution, this is definitely the way to go. It is absolutely waterproof. There's no danger of it. If it can stay outside, nature is going to fail in its attempt to destroy it. You also get a free DDNS server from Foscam, so that's also a great service that most of the other companies don't offer at all. And the software is really functional. As you've seen, it offers many functions, but this camera is not perfect. The reason why I'm saying this is because of the SD card situation. You saw what it takes for you to install the SD card. While it is not difficult, it will still deter some people who just want to slide it in somewhere, which I can imagine could have been solved more elegantly. You see how the cables are on the outside. There could have been like a cable with an adapter at the end of it. It doesn't sound very good, but it would have been definitely easier and more pleasant for people. The night vision is also great, by the way. And yeah, in any case, this is something that baffles me, especially the fact that in order to install it, you have to void your warranty. So that is something that annoys me, but considering the quality and the price of this camera, I am still recommending it to you, because I find it to be a great buy. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if that was the case, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you want to support my YouTube channel further, you may click on the Patreon sign on top, or you can also use the Amazon link that I've provided in the description to buy something within 5 minutes after clicking on that link. It really helps me, guys, and I'd be really grateful if you did so. In any case, thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you on the next video.